Hello and welcome back. You're watching Business Arena here on TVP World. I'm your host, Alexandra Marchewicz, and these are the latest business headlines. Austria's Raiffeisen Bank has recently posted its first quarterly net loss in 9 years, setting aside 840 million euros to cover the costs of an unfavorable court ruling in Russia. The bank has been under pressure to leave the Russian market since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. 2 billion euros in damages. That's how much Raiffeisen is to pay under the ruling of a Russian court in Kaliningrad. The penalty follows the collapse of a deal where the bank sought to buy a stake in an Austrian construction company from a Russian-owned entity, which unraveled under pressure from Washington. For the past 3 years, Raiffeisen has been under pressure from the European Central Bank to leave Russia. While still operating in Russia, the bank has paid 277 million euros in taxes to the Russian budget. At the same time, the bank's business outside Russia has been profitable. The February meeting of the Polish Monetary Policy Council concluded on Wednesday, and there were no surprises. The reference rate will remain at 5.75%. Konrad Gorliński joins us live from Bank Pekao headquarters with the details.
Well, that's right, Alexandra. No surprises here. This February meeting of the Polish Monetary Council is the 15th in a row that's ended with no changes to the interest rates. They remain at 5.75%. Well, joining me now is Bank Pekao economist Sebastian Roy and a friend of the show. He's joining us right now. Sebastian, please tell me, were you or anyone in your team surprised to hear the news today?
I am no surprised, and actually nobody is surprised. Even the broad financial markets, nobody expected interest rate cuts during this meeting, so we are perfectly in line with our expectations.
All right, and why is this happening? I assume it's because of inflation. I mean, we're still dealing with inflation, and we can't seem to get past that final mile of disinflation.
Yeah, the final mile of disinflation is long, but we also need to remember that the previous sitting of the Monetary Policy Council took place some 3 weeks ago. So we are, frankly speaking, in the same macroeconomic situation we were last month. Nothing changed, and the Council still highlights its worries about persistent core inflation and also the possibility of bolstering inflation in the second half of the year once energy prices become unfrozen again. So the risks, they're still in play, and so the Council remains cautious.
That's right. And recent reports by the IMF, by the OECD, they see inflation hitting the target, which is about 2.5%, not until the end of 2026. Is that in line with your projections?
Yeah, this is in line with my projections. It is also in line with the forecasts of the National Bank of Poland, which expects that we shall hit the inflation target around the end of 2026.
All right, and now let's get to what everyone wants to know, is when are we going to finally see the rates come down? I mean, last time we talked, we were thinking perhaps even March, but I think this is rather unlikely at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, March is out of the game nowadays, of course. What we need to remember is that in the second half of the year, inflation will go significantly down due to base effects. So we will see inflation starting not with 5%, but 3%. And that will be timing of the first interest rate cuts. So I expect the Monetary Policy Council to deliver 100 basis points of interest rate cuts till the end of this year. However, the cuts will begin in the second half of the year.
The second half of the year, or perhaps even later?
I think just it will be second half of the year.
All right. Well, let's hope so. All right. Well, Adam Glapiński, the chairman of the National Bank of Poland, will be making an official statement tomorrow at around 4 p.m. Perhaps there might be some good news for borrowers then, but as it looks right now, it's rather unlikely. I'm Konrad Gorliński reporting for TVP World. Back to you, Alexandra.
Thank you so much, Konrad, for your report. And well, now the question remains when Poland can expect a cut in interest rates. Is the country on track for strong growth, or are looming tariffs and renewed Eurozone inflation about to derail the recovery? So coming up, we'll speak with the Velo Bank's chief economist Piotr Erak, and he'll shed light on what Poland and the wider region can expect in the months ahead. So don't go away. X-Kom, a Polish online electronics store, has acquired a majority stake in the home appliances retailer Neonet. The transaction will considerably increase X-Kom's physical presence, which is currently limited to pick-up points with small exhibition space. The acquisition of Neonet was sealed following approval by Poland's antitrust authorities. The conclusion of a deal with Neonet creditors, which had been in restructuring since end of 2023, also paved the way for the acquisition. Now X-Kom holds 51% stake in Neonet. While the company is not yet revealing exact plans on whether the Neonet brand will disappear from the market or will be retained, or how the operation of the stores will change, it is likely that the household appliances previously available in Neonet stores will be added to the product portfolio offered by X-Kom. Poland's energy mix became greener in 2025, according to a new report. While the share of renewables is expected to continue growing, coal will remain essential to the country's energy security.
Power plants like these are the mainstay of Poland's energy mix. Last year, however, they covered 63% of the country's demand for power, a near 5 percentage point annual drop.
Coal, despite being a declining source of power and one that is stigmatized. From the perspective of energy availability or energy production in general, we have no other alternative at the moment.
Grzegorz Lot, president of the board of the Polish energy giant Tauron, is of the same opinion and told TVP World at the meeting of the subcommittee for an equitable transition that conventional energy sources will remain critical to Poland's energy security.
On the one hand, we need to take decisive and swift actions to develop renewable energy sources such as nuclear and hydrogen. On the other hand, during this transition period, we must prioritize security. This security can be ensured by our 200 megawatts units.
Lot added that Tauron is ready to keep these 200 megawatt coal-fired power plants on standby, provided that the financial conditions for their viability are met. However, they currently do not meet the climate obligations required for financing through the capacity market, a mechanism designed to prevent blackouts. The Ministry of Climate and Environment wants to ensure Poland has a reliable supply of power until nuclear energy arrives, which according to the Deputy Minister Miłosz Motyka is its key objective.
This is the most significant challenge facing Poland's power sector today, ensuring a just energy transition, particularly until we can fully rely on the nuclear power plant, which is currently under construction.
If everything goes according to plan, which is challenging with investments of this scale, Poland's first nuclear power plant will come online in 2036, but it will require a few more years to reach full capacity. Poland's current energy strategy foresees a departure from coal, but not before the middle of the century.
And that is all for our business news updates today, but for more business stories, check out tvpworld.com.